We're live. Thank you very much, David. Hello, everybody. Today, welcome to another Kerfuffle Spotlight with one of our fantastic partners at Landmark. Hello, Samantha. Hello, Simon. Thank you very much for making it today. You okay?
Thank you.
Yeah, very good. Thanks. Very good.
I particularly like the fighter pilot outfit. That's good, Simon. Taking Kerfuffle seriously, which is what we're all about.
I put a shirt on this morning and thought I'd follow suit, so you know.
Excellent, as I said, even I, because we've got such austere guests, I'm wearing a shirt for the first time in three months. So there we go. Look, I think let's just kick straight into it. I think, sorry, I'm joined by my fantastic partner as well, David, Mr. Mintz, who's doing both powering a state agency in the background and doing a podcast.
So.
That's just how flexible and brilliant he is. Guys, I think everyone's heard of Landmark, haven't they? And we understand that you're a multifaceted company. I'll admit, when we were going through the prep in this over the previous days, I didn't know just how much you obviously did. And I think it's fair to say for many agencies, you underpin a number of key roles, responsibilities for them. Is that a common thing you find yourself, almost people being a little bit surprised by just how much you guys do?
Yes. Do you want to take it, Simon? Sorry.
Yeah. No. Absolutely. No. It really is. It really is. We cover a hell of a lot of the kind of property industry in terms of the products we have, and in terms of the areas of the property transaction we cover, and whenever we are in presentations and speaking to people, it is quite common for people to have heard of the brand names that are associated to us, but not actually realise that Landmark sort of pin the whole thing together. So it is a real common theme that we get back from them, Simon. Absolutely.
So it would be unfair to call you an industry's best kept secret because let's be honest, most people have heard of it. But I think the secret is in some of the product lines, isn't it? There, so most people will know it. Very prominent, is the MetroPix elements of what you guys do, the old floor plans software and everything else. But we're going to be talking in a lot of different areas today. Just give us an idea, guys. Though, Samantha, maybe you can just tell us what is the size and scale of the company? How many people do you have working over at Landmark?
Well, just in terms of transaction levels, we touch over 95% of property transactions at some point that go through in the UK. That's because throughout all the different products that we have, some people might just know us as compliance or floor plans, but we also sort of provide survey data. We do work with mortgage lenders, so there's so many different bits to it that at some point through a property transaction we will have touched it most likely. I mean, we even look after the EPC register, so there's so many elements to it. And I think a lot of our clients will know us for one thing or another, but today hopefully we'll clarify actually there's so many different components that we can do just for estate agents themselves as well.
Wow, so 95%, that's an I'm supposed to know about these things, and that's an eye-opening. And sorry, and how many people work at Landmark as well? So
I'd say there's about somewhere between 600 and 700. We have offices in Reading, Kent, Exeter, Edinburgh, Belfast, Brighton, Lancaster, all over the place. So it's we each sort of key area looks after a different part of the business, with the kind of head office split between Reading and Exeter. So it's
definitely one of the biggest suppliers out there in terms of headcount. Well, and if you're hitting 95% of all transactions, I'm not surprised. Right, so I will cut short the amount of things that I don't know because we could go on for 2 hours highlighting that. But Simon, what we're going to do is anyone else who's joining us here on the various groups and everything else, please do put in your questions or comments. We're going to let the guys get through their presentation, and then we're going to ask them a few of the questions at the end. So we will deal with any questions and queries you have. But Simon, please, I think you have the ability to seize control of the screen. Would love to hear what you guys have got to say.
Fabulous. So is I'm assuming the presentation's on there, David and Simon?
It is indeed, yeah.
Fabulous. Okay. So I'm Simon Birley, my colleague Sam Peacock. We both work for Landmark. I'm the one with no hair, and obviously you can see the headset. Sam's got plenty of hair, and it looks like she's not wearing one, so I'm quite jealous. So thanks for your time today. We're here to talk to you about Landmark and how we can turbocharge your pipeline. we are a very big business. We have a lot of solutions, and the overriding theme of what me and Sam do at Landmark Estate Agent Services, which is a division within Landmark, is about speeding up transactions with more certainty and less risk. So I'll kind of jump into it without further ado. As Simon said, look, you may not have heard of Landmark per se, but you will have heard of the associated brands: Metropix, Compliance in a Box, ProMap, Etsos, Quest, Searchflow, EnviroSearch, literally to name a few. And we are one of the biggest industries you may not have heard of, but you will have interacted with us over the years in some form. And it's very possible that in your current pipeline, you are dealing with products that have been supplied by Landmark. We're a property group. We span the property sector in the UK and Ireland, working with most forms of property professionals, as Sam mentioned earlier: estate agents, obviously, which is kind of what we're here today, surveyors, solicitors, energy assessors, mortgage brokers, lenders, and Lee's, Landmark Estate Agent Services, the division we work for, is a branch within the Landmark Group that is focusing on solving the pain points of estate agents. We touch over 95% of all transactions, as already mentioned. But within the Landmark Estate Agent Services division, we work specifically with around about 3,500 estate agents, which gives us a really good idea of the pain points that you guys are sort of actively facing at any one point. And let's be honest, as it stands today, there are quite a few of them, and pain points that we've never experienced before. So it's a real sort of new time in the marketplace, quite a scary time as well in some cases. So it's mine and Sam's task on a daily basis. We're constantly in contact with our clients, speaking to a hell of a lot of new prospects, and we're feeding back into the business the active issues, pain points. And our division is actually, quite a small part of Landmark, but a very active part of Landmark. And it allows us to be really active, pivot what we're offering, and build new systems and new products to solve those pain points really quickly. We have we're based around a core number of onboarding products at Landmark Estate Agent Services, be it for compliance and Metropix for floor plans. And adding to that with where we see pain points and issues, that allows us to sort of stick to our mantra of more speed, more certainty, and less risk. And bizarrely enough, it's sort of another stat to throw into the mix here. Something that shocked me, with the amount of prop tech and technology and ways we communicate electronically these days, you would have assumed over the last 10, 15 years that property transaction times to go from offer accepted to completion would have reduced. Actually, they've almost doubled in the last 10 years, and we're up to about 16 to 18 weeks at the minute. And you would have assumed that may well have halved over that period. And our business goal is to reduce the time of property transactions. At the minute as well, can you afford transaction times to be 16 to 18 weeks, for your current pipeline or new instructions? Will your cash flow allow for this? And this is some real issues that agents are facing. So I'm going to hand to Sam now to discuss the next points around this.
Thank you, Simon. So we obviously know that, the next 3 to 6 months are going to be crucial for most agents, with cash flow being squeezed, and this isn't going to change for some time. We are going to be in a new norm of estate agency and how we operate. With the industry opening back up in a flurry over the past few weeks, we do appreciate that there has been a lot of noise out there. Therefore, just like Kerfuffle, we are trying to help agents make sense of the noise in the supplier space. We're just trying to provide some customizable solutions that can quite simply just speed up the transaction process. We're all well aware that lockdown has stopped millions of UK property transactions in their tracks, with over £1 billion worth of sales commission tied up. However, early reports do seem positive, with listings picking back up, agents being inundated with calls, to request viewings where possible, and the online web traffic has been some of its highest levels it has been for a long time. But as the industry reopens, it's not really business as usual, because obviously social distancing is going to make the job a lot harder. So more and more agents are looking for these digital solutions that can help overcome the challenges that you face. Now, there's obviously going to be a backlog of searches and inevitably delays. So the key question here is, how are agents going to speed things up to get through the next few months? Now, how agents actually handle the coming months will be critical to their success, if not survival, to be honest. It's all very well getting your current pipeline to exchange, and that will obviously inject some cash flow into the business. But how do you cover your costs after that if you're waiting months for new transactions to complete? We don't obviously like to sound doom and gloom, but with an average 16-week turnaround time to get to exchange, there's been lost revenue during lockdown and a diminished pipeline, of course. Now more than ever, agents and solicitors just cannot afford delays. Getting your properties listed, sold, and completed as quickly as possible is your top priority. In the same way that agents have had to adapt, so have suppliers. We've worked hard to bring agent solutions that can help reduce your costs so that you can exchange faster and ultimately getting paid sooner. So the journey to get paid sooner with onboarding properties quicker with more certainty and security, I'm now going to hand you over to Simon just to elaborate a little bit more on what we mean by that.
Fabulous. Thanks, Sam. So as I mentioned earlier, we have kind of two main onboarding products, and then we have built several products off the back end, which Sam will touch upon. And one of our main onboarding products is Metropix. It's a mainstay of the estate agent market in terms of floor plans. Some research done by Rightmove, it was some time ago now, so I'd suggest the numbers are slightly higher, was that 42% of all vendors would not even invite an agent to their house if they didn't offer a floor plan. I assume you do agree with this, and even in lockdown, I would actually say that's absolutely more essential. They're an essential part of the virtual viewings package, and you need to make sure all buyers are informed as they possibly can be, because we need to help reduce time wasters coming through the door and a necessary contact with clients. You need to be making sure that you're putting the right people through the door to view a property. So having a better idea of the way the property is laid out beforehand is absolutely essential. We're experiencing a peak in interest of new inquiries and instructions, but can you afford to wait for a third party once you've instructed on a property at the minute to spend time getting to that property? Has that third party supplier furloughed their staff? Are they unfurloughing their staff? Can they deal with the demand you have of the properties that need floor plans on? And then they're having to book that in or making sure that it's safe to visit that property. So it's as an essential part of the virtual viewing package, floor plans need to be done as quickly and as soon as possible. And that's really where Metropix can come and help. With the most used floor plan system in the UK and are used across 160 countries at the moment. For the last 5 years, we've been voted for by our customers at the ESTAs as Supplier of the Year in the floor plan category, which, as I've said, is voted for by our suppliers, which is really essential because they are really happy with the service that we deliver, both in the backup and the ease and use of the system. One of the major pluses for Metropix at the minute is PlanBank. As you'll see it on the screen, there are access to 13 million plans in PlanBank. So what is PlanBank? PlanBank is the system whereby you add the address of the property that you're going to take a floor plan or draw a floor plan for. And we will inevitably either have that property or the property next door or one in that road in our PlanBank, which we can supply you with. If you've got that property there, you can edit the property details to suit yourself. And it only takes about 5 minutes to draw a 3-bedroom house from scratch anyway. But with PlanBank, it allows you to do it quicker, allows you to get in and out of the house quicker and spend less time in the property at the moment. Should you or your staff have any questions, we offer absolutely full training and ongoing support as part of the Metropix package. So that's kind of one of the ways we have. Secondly is compliance. Now, I was watching another webinar with Kerfuffle a couple of days ago, and Simon talked about compliance being boring, which I have to take issue with because it is one of the most interesting subjects in the estate agent market, in my opinion. And it's on the tip of everyone's tongue. And unfortunately, it is something we all have to do. I joke, it is a bit dull, but it has to be done. And if it isn't done properly, HMRC will be on top of you. Now, there have been, in some instances, relaxing of the guidelines in the lockdown situation, but we cannot see any evidence of HMRC saying, don't worry about compliance until later in the piece. It absolutely still has to be done as they have said so. So you need to carry out your customer due diligence and your enhanced due diligence still. So you need to consider how you can complete your customer due diligence whilst doing it remotely. Do you want to be going to a vendor's house or getting a buyer to come to your office at the minute so they can give you documents so you can photocopy them so you can hand them back? Probably not. How are you identifying, in another instance, who absolutely owns the property? Not to sound a bit grim, but in these times, there are some drivers of the property market. Divorce is one of them. I'm sure there's quite a few of those about to happen at the moment. And you need to make sure that if someone is instructing you to sell that property, you absolutely know the owners of that property. So how are you identifying that for sure at the minute? Remember, you must conduct customer due diligence or enhanced due diligence prior to listing a new instruction for vendors. And for purchasers, between offer accepted and exchange. Now, I would suggest you want to get either of that done at the soonest possible point at the minute, so you can just tick it off the list and move on and not have to deal with it later. And have you changed your money laundering policy to reflect the new ways of working? So, they're the problems that agents are talking to us about, and the solution really is our compliance in a box product. It brings consistency and speed to your AML process by switching to electronic verification. And actually, if you already are using an electronic verification system, some people are moving to us because of the terms we have around ours, and I'll come on to them in a second. Gives you a simple and safe way to verify your client's identity, brings speed and efficiency to your customer due diligence process, because we return results within seconds for you. We have full access to land registry, so you can ID who owns a property. Results in seconds, which helps you get your properties listed quicker, and it ensures safety for your staff and your clients by adopting a remote verification process. As I've said before, the less time you spend in the property, the better. The less time you spend face-to-face with the client at the minute, bizarrely, the better. So it saves you time and money. We have a pay-as-you-go service, which we have for most of our products, with no tie-ins or contracts. We want you to use our products. We want you to be happy with their products, and we will prove that they are some of the best in the marketplace. And beyond that, we offer templates for money laundering policies, risk assessments, and staff training, all for the cost of a money laundering check to help keep you compliant. So look, I'm going to hand you back to Sam now to discuss how we can improve your transaction times even further with the products that we've recently put together. Thank you.
Thanks, Simon. So our clients are telling us that as they are coming out of lockdown, they are trying to exchange as fast as possible on their current pipeline. But then what's going to happen is we're going to have this barren period where we've got new properties that are just sat on the market. So what can you do to shorten this barren period and get money in sooner? Now, this is where we come in with this concept of quick sale ready by essentially getting properties contract ready sooner. So part of the quick sale ready service is the Law Society forms. Whilst your properties are sat idle on the market, why not get those property forms out to the vendors now so that they can start to pull together all the pieces that the solicitor needs to get those properties contract ready? You would order these electronically on our system as well. And in doing this, you can save anything from 2 weeks up to a whole month off your conveyancing time by getting these to the legal partner much sooner than they've ever got them before. What would a month do to your cash flow if your pipeline exchanged a month earlier? It also makes you look proactive to your existing clients, and naturally it's going to make you stand out from competition. So it's another tool under your belt that you can take to new vendors to say, look, this is what we are doing to get you through this current market to sell your homes faster. It also protects you from a compliance point of view because you'll have more information up front about the property to share with those buyers, and it will help you to find out earlier if there's any problems with the property that could cause delays, so that you will also find out further down the line you're going to have less fall throughs as well. Now, this could be something that you look to change permanently when you see the impact it makes on your revenue coming in as well. But also with this, you can look at outsourcing. Now, there are many amazing outsourcing solutions out there, not just from our business. Have a think about, do you need to be doing absolutely everything centrally going forward? Are there things that you can get other teams to do to save your staff time? The same goes for our quick sale ready service and our compliance service. You can outsource these to us. If you don't have a legal partner that you work with, we can even arrange these for you too, as well as looking at bringing in referral fees if this was something that you wanted. You can even outsource your sales progression so that you don't have to have staff spending time chasing down conveyances for updates and for answers. Imagine how much time and money you currently waste on purely chasing for updates. We can take the legwork out of these types of tasks for you so that your staff are entirely focused on the activities that make you money. You need to future-proof your agency, and this is the time now to test new solutions, cut your costs, and just rewrite the rules on how your business is run. It's all about making things better, making things faster, and ultimately more efficient for you. It is about working smarter and not harder. So an extension of this service is we also give you the ability to order no sale, no fee searches. Now, these will be ordered the moment the property has an offer accepted on it and given to the solicitor handling the case. Traditionally, searches don't get ordered until weeks down into the transaction, and that is where agents can see serious delays. This solution speeds all this up significantly. And again, you can either order these yourselves, or you can get your legal partners to do them, or outsource this to us completely and we can order it for you. You wouldn't even need to pay for these searches because they are invoiced to the buyer upon completion. So you're getting all the benefits with no cost. And it also gives a better experience to your client because they only have to pay for the searches if the property goes through. So there is less risk to them. And also, as we said earlier, any problems with the property, they're going to be discovered much earlier. Coming out of lockdown, we know that there's going to be a huge backlog of search requests. Most searches are done instantly, such as the Enviro search, but some searches actually require people to go into the council office to retrieve the information, such as the local authority search or the drainage and water search. So this is where the product here that we've got on the slide, Transact, this is where this comes in. And this can be ordered in the same way. And again, you just charge this to the buyer like you would normal searches. Now, this is our Aviva-backed insurance policy and data bundle. And it is completely unique to Landmark. Nobody else offers this product on the market. What it does is it contains over 70% of what is included in a full local authority search, and then only the unavailable elements are insured out. But that means it provides enough information with the insurance to be able to exchange contracts on. Now, Transact has a 48-hour turnaround time, meaning that your solicitor has most of the local information that they need to start raising inquiries within days rather than weeks. There's also the option you could even order this alongside a full search if you wanted without the insurance element, just so that you've got both. But if you thought councils were slow at returning the local search prior to lockdown, just imagine the backlog and delays that are going to happen going forward. This removes that panic. And again, just think about how this is going to benefit your business long term as well. I'm now going to hand you back to Simon just to talk about some exclusive deals that we've got for Kerfuffle members. But if you do have any questions about what we've mentioned today, our details are going to be on the last slide. And obviously, you can get more information on the Kerfuffle site.
Thanks, Sam. So, yeah, thank you very much, everyone, for listening. Hope that was sort of interesting. We have various offers for Kerfuffle members that are a kind of extension of what we would give to our normal clients, but just frankly better. So what we offer you guys is the ability to have 2, 3, or 4 months free with our services. And what do I mean by that? Well, I'll explain it in a bit more detail. If you think, do you know what, I'm looking at some of the products, the onboarding products like Metropix or AML checks, you want to try them, we'll give you the first 2 months at no cost. Yeah. If you take out both Metropix and Compliance in a Box, for example, what we will do is we will give you Metropix for free for 3 months and Compliance in a Box on a pay-as-you-go basis. So giving you some real value there. Further to that, if you were looking at any of the quick sell ready or Transact services, once you start to use them, you get Compliance in a Box from a AML point of view and Metropix from a floor plan point of view free for 4 months. So we hope there's something there for you. We've tried to sort of mix it so everyone's got something that they can sort of grasp onto. And we believe that the deals there offer some real value and ability to sort of trial our services. But, that's up for you to decide. So look, that's our last slide. There's mine and Sam's contact details. I'm sure Simon, David have got some things to say or maybe some questions to ask us. So I'll pass back to them now. And thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Simon. Thank you, Samantha. Absolutely, we certainly are going to have a few things to talk about. I've got a page full of notes here, and I can see questions are coming in from various different sorts there. I think one of the questions I was going to ask, actually, and I was going to ask you, David, if that's okay first. It jumped out at me on that slide, and we spoke about it on the panel the other day, that one of the quickest and most easily achievable methods of reducing the timescale is ordering those searches quickly. Yeah. David, is there any reason why, do you use a quick sale ready, essentially, service yourself, to get those searches ordered in the quickest possible start?
So we don't. I think a lot of the online sort of seminars and webinars that I've sat in on, tons of them over the past few weeks, everybody has been focused on getting sale ready, and I think there are massive efficiencies to be gained there. and certainly this sort of service would be great. I think us as agents, when it comes to things like getting the contracts ready and the searches, we've conveniently delegated that responsibility to solicitors over the years, and all we do is tend to parrot back, oh, the solicitor says he's applied for searches, solicitor says he's still waiting for a check for searches, and so really we haven't taken the driving role on that. And I think that listening to what's been said today, I think agents probably can make up for a lot of lost time. Certainly something Samantha touched on before, and this is really true. The time for searches coming back now, if you thought they were slow before lockdown, most of the councils are working on limited capacity, and it seems to be physical capacity and mental capacity at the moment. You're just not getting the answers that we need. So we've got sales that are just, they're getting extremely frustrated by the fact that searches are still outstanding. So I think the answer to your question is, Simon, that I think agents should start to take a more active role in pushing this, and perhaps not just leave it to the solicitors. It's interesting, though, listening to all of you, whether or not our relationship with solicitors will be a little bit strained by us saying, look, guys, you know, we're not going to wait for you to get your act in order. We're going to order this and use this product to speed it all up. Are you okay with it? What would your advice be to sort of
I mean, I think it's all about, for so long now, the sort of the way that we sell property, the model has been very, very similar. I mean, before, I've worked for Landmark now for over 4 years, and before that I worked for a big corporate agent, and in 4 years it still hasn't changed. So you know, you work so hard to get your property to the point of offer agreed, and then you hand out the memos, and everyone's really excited, and then all that happens then is you spend the next 2-3 months chasing the solicitor, mithering them all the time, saying, can you tell me what's going on? And then that solicitor doesn't just have to answer the phone to you, they've got the vendor probably ringing them, the buyers ringing them, and every other agent in that town constantly ringing them for updates. So it's all about everybody trying to be a little bit more proactive and take back control. Agents don't just have to be at the mercy of the conveyancer. You know, you've worked hard to get it to the point of offer agreed, and then you just handle that full control over to the conveyancer, and then you sit there fingers crossed and hope it goes through, and you just chase and chase. But there isn't actually that much you can do to influence that. So this is why we've sort of created this product, to try and sort of put agents back in control of their pipeline. You know, it doesn't necessarily have to be that the agent orders the searches either. If you work with a legal partner that in your town that you know, they're brilliant, they're really proactive, and they're really good at stuff, get them to do it. But get them to do it that the point really is, the point of ordering is that it's done that the day a property has an offer accepted on it. Because what happens now is you get an offer in, the buyers then start to think about a solicitor, they'll go and get quotes, maybe they'll start to then get some information back, and most searches don't get ordered until they've paid for them, and a lot of solicitors still take check payments for that. So you're talking weeks into the transaction before they even get ordered, and as you've said, there's going to be delays. So it just means that it's just everything is being pushed back all the time. We talked about the property forms. If anyone's ever filled them in, they are a nightmare to do because they're so big. But when the vendors just got on the market, that's when they're really excited, and they're constantly ringing you, asking what viewings they've got, you know, what feedback have they got. So that's actually the better time to give them the property forms to fill in, because they haven't got anything else to sort of be doing at this point, because there's no buyer in the loop at this stage. And especially if they're unorganised and they've got warranties and certificates for the gas, the boiler is all over the place. Get them to organise that now while there's no pressure because there's no buyer. That way, then, you know, the solicitor, they're going to think, brilliant, I've got a client that comes to me ready-made with their forms done. You know, I don't have to sort of be mithering them to get that done, because what happens normally, solicitors post those forms out as well. So they don't have to chase the vendors to get that done. They get a ready-made client coming to them, and then everything's going to be ordered sooner for them, and it means they're getting mithered less as well. well for updates because everything's being done quicker. So it helps on both sides. And if you, like I said, if you've got one you work with closely, use it as a way to refer to the good solicitor in your area, because we all know what it's like. Sometimes the vendor will tell you who they're using and you go, oh God, and you know, right, this isn't going through for ages because that solicitor never answers the phone to me and I'm never going to know what's going on. So it's just to try and help both sides of the coin, really.
Would you love to know how many more houses a year I would sell if solicitors weren't part of the process? and it's interesting because the services that you offer enable you to sort of marginalize the amount of reliance on that solicitor. Any solicitors watching today, yes, you should be afraid, very afraid, because the mysticism of we're waiting for the magic owl to return with those searches.
I think there are 2 points there actually. First of all, we do a lot of work on the auction side. With a lot of agents who estate agents who do auctions, and their auction departments buy or use us for no sell, no fee searches, and they've got no issue going to their solicitors and saying, look, this is how we're ordering the searches. You do the special terms, special conditions, but we're ordering the searches from here, so deal with it. And they kind of actually, in the main, are like, okay, that's fine, because they don't make any margin on that, and it's just it's a hassle, frankly. When we speak to agents about it, we have found in the past they're slightly more worried about having those conversations, and it hasn't necessarily happened. Now, I was listening to a session with you guys last week from a sales progressor. I can't remember who it was, but someone on there was saying that they ordered searches up front. I don't even know it was on a no sell, no fee basis, but they had everything back done and dusted within the month. Yeah, and the solicitor on the other side hadn't even ordered the searches by then. Yeah, so it just shows you how quick they were. You know, they're under no pressure to do it, and they are, it's just about getting it done at an earlier point to speed sales through. And as you said, David, how many more properties would you sell a year? That's what it comes
if just to add there as well, I know before I came and did this job, and I even owned a house, that I didn't actually know what all the different searches were. And a lot of people don't, in the agency world, we understand you order searches, but a lot don't actually know what's the different types of searches, what do they do, what information do they provide. So you can have any searches from us, because we can supply any of them. So it depends what you want, but mainly we just sort of say, particularly make sure you order the local and drainage, because they're the two that take forever to come back. And if you decide as an agent, actually, we're going to get them ordered, actually, you don't even have to read them if you don't want to. That's not really the negotiator or the valuer's job to read and understand a search. It's just so that you know that they've been ordered, and then you can forward them on to whoever it is that's handling the case. Or if you want your solicitor to order them, or you want us to order them, it's entirely up to you. But it's just so that you've been done. You don't have to sort of get all bogged down with, but I don't know the different types of search. Just order the two that take the longest to come back, and let the solicitor order the others that they feel are best to protect their client on that property.
We've got some questions coming in from people that are watching on Facebook. So here's one of them. I'll just read it out. I think you guys can see it, but thanks, guys. Really useful. Given most agents will run some form of CRM, how do they manage this in conjunction with that, particularly as the Holy Grail is a single solution? And if the agent is going to be driving more of the initial legwork, is there a fear that vendors or buyers will opt for cheaper online conveyancing, which in the main has proved to be quite poor? And that's coming from Gary Hardy.
Hi, Gary.
An interesting question. So we are sort of having talks with CRM providers about sort of integration. I think a lot of prop tech suppliers out there are. We'd all obviously love to be on the same platforms and same space. It's very hard for everyone to be on one. There's always going to be some systems where people are not always on it, but the idea is that you can, even with our platform, you can share it with the solicitor, and everybody can be involved and see what's going on if they wanted to do that. You will all know solicitors in your towns that they'll have their own system, they won't share that, and they don't want agents to see that, and that's what you're dealing with at the minute. So if you have a portal actually where people can just see where the transaction is up to all together, that's a huge improvement on just keep ringing the secretary and mithering her for an update. It's just having more visibility in what's going on in the transaction.
Okay. It's hard to get integration with all the CRMs. Like Sam said, we've got integration with some, and actually we are in the throes of launching a new onboarding system as it stands, which very soon, or probably by the beginning of next year, will bring the searches into that as well. So via our platform, we'll be able to do that. As it stands at the moment, you can use our current website to order the searches, or you can give your solicitor the access to that and they can do it themselves. But having a kind of single solution that every agent plugs into, that every agent gets visibility of, that tags into the CRM system, I think we all know how Simon was at Refit, wasn't he? You know what CRM systems are like.
Don't worry. I've spent a lifetime apologising for the sins of those businesses. But there's a lot of really important stuff. One thing that I do need to point out, Samantha, we don't hear enough people saying the word "mither" on this show.
Northern.
Classic Northern term there. I really like that. I think you're right. But, again, I know just that the CRM companies obviously have taken a long while to get up to the speed with the integration of companies there. This strikes me as, it certainly won't be from your side. Luckily, they are all opening up, aren't they? So I'm sure that it's beholden on them, because having the facilities that you have obviously integrated in one place is a benefit to them as much as it is to you, isn't it? Let's be honest.
Absolutely. Yeah. The one thing I would say is, given the size of Landmark and the number of products we do, the ones that are now looking to open up, to be fair, like Repeat those types, I mean, we're never going to get all of them. You got Vibra, Expert Agent, the kind of Zoopla-led CRM systems that are a bit more closed off. But the other ones see Landmark as a partner they want to integrate with, because of the breadth of products we have. So with the API where we can start to service all of our products in one place, more and more are sort of speaking to us about that. So it's a bit of a way off, but it's coming there, for that full integration with most people.
Cool. I've got a question here as well, if it's all right. So you've touched on the product offering and the benefits to agents really comprehensively. In there, you mentioned the flexibility you offer in terms of delivery of your products to agents. Can you just expand on that a little bit?
Yeah, so with any of our solutions, we never try to dictate to people how they take it, because agency businesses obviously vary so much in size, in terms of what things you already do in-house and how you want to manage something. So what we mean by that is, even just going back all the way down just to our AML checks, you can either order them yourselves. We can do it on a little pay-as-you-go basis. There's no contracts, no tie-ins. It's just at the end of each month, you just get billed. And it's really flexible like that. Or you can fully outsource it, and we'll do it all for you. And the idea is we're always trying to give people choice. So we always listen to what is it that is bugging agents, what is taking up their time away from business generation activities, and where can we sort of tweak that. So in tech world, you have to be constantly adapting. So with all the solutions that we've mentioned today, with our ordering of searches or property forms, you want to do it yourself, brilliant. You want your solicitor to do it, we can talk to them about it for you. Or you want us to fully do it for you, and you want us to attach a solicitor to do it because you haven't got anybody that can do it. We will find a solution for you that works for your agency. So we're not, it's black and white, this is the service, and you can't adapt. We're just flexible with what you want to take.
And that's really important, isn't it, Samantha? Because actually, there's a lot of suppliers out there, let's face it, they're great suppliers, but they do fit a certain niche. And, whether that's the corporate agents or the single office agents, the independents, it's very hard. And I'm guessing this is one of the great things, because you have such resources at your disposal there to be able to define it for the different categories, don't you? That's quite important.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I would agree there. From what Sam said, if you take compliance as a piece, you've got DIY service, pay as you go, you've got an outsourced service where we do it for you. And then you touched on the kind of larger sort of national agents there, Simon. We have an API where we can completely integrate into your system with that for land registry. So we try to look at that across all of our products and work out something that is not log on to this system and do it in this way and change the way you work. It is, this is how you work. These are the products we have. How can we fit them together? The best to suit your needs.
Got some other comments and questions coming in, but one of them was, is there any particular type of search that Landmark doesn't cover, sort of mining or flooding, etc.? Is it all of them?
We cover them all, because we own search suppliers as part of our business. So if it's something you want, we'll find it for you.
Sure.
So basically, they take the Liam Neeson approach. They will find them. They will get them for
We
you.
do.
They have a set of special skills. Yeah.
And the other question that we've had are there how effective can having a floor plan against a property be when listed either on your website or portal? And do you think it would increase inquiries or deliver quality buyers? Well, I'm going to step in and take some of the strain out of that question for you guys.
Thank you.
Because I'm going to tell you now that this is a verified statistic, and it's something that Rightmove harp on about an awful lot. Is that if you list a property on your portals without a floor plan, you are going to lose at least 25% of your market. There is research out there that suggests that a good percentage of buyers will not even click on a listing that doesn't have a floor plan. And the reason for that is that as buyers and as consumers, we're used to being handed everything on a plate. And a floor plan is not a new thing anymore. This is now it is a staple part of our diet as estate agents. If you're not providing floor plans to your clients should be finding an agent that does. Simple.
Yeah.
And you will be amazed at the amount of traction that you get. So those per property views that Rightmove go on about, those will instantly skyrocket with a floor plan. So I've answered that question for you.
Simon, have you bunged him some money there?
I've sent him a brown envelope with some hand sanitizer, so just make sure you wipe it all down first.
I can tell you something. I went to see a vendor the other day, and I said, they were asking about properties that might be suitable for them. And I said, okay, well, look, I drove past a board of another agent this morning. It's not on with us, but that looks like the type of thing you're looking for. And she said, yeah, but it didn't have a floor plan, so I didn't bother inquiring. And literally people, because it frustrates them because the photos are misleading sometimes, but the floor plan almost never lies. Depends on
when you look at Metropix, we started it off as a kind of really funky sort of 3D imagery system. And very quickly, we just moved to a sort of blank 2D because it just really represents the property in a completely non-biased way.
Yeah.
And when I look at property, I think floor plans, descriptions are kind of out the window now in terms of what people are looking at. You're looking at floor plans and photos, really. And it's absolutely, I mean, I'm amazed some quite large agents still don't have floor plans on every property. And at the minute, you look at the market we're in, you look at what we're trying to do, we're trying to get as many people to see a property as possible. But actually at the minute, we're probably trying to limit the amount of people that walk through the door. We'll do it safely. So a floor plan, it knocks time wasters out of the equation and gives more people more information. So it's
I think Peter Knight, I used to do the home moving trends, didn't he, from Sunday Times? I think they still do it here. There's some really compelling ones there where they, the largest or one of the largest surveys to vendors asking them what's important, and floor plans were always near the top of the tree again, weren't they? I know for myself, it's absolutely there. So I think, look, one thing that jumped out and another question we got back, actually, it was going to be, obviously there was a huge amount of suppliers, let's be honest now, that are out there doing floor plans. And I was going to say, what's the point of difference? But again, I'll do a David Mintz and jump straight in. We'll fend away these prol questions. that did you call it plan bank? Plan bank.
Yes, plan bank, yeah.
That's a weapon of mass destruction.
I'm so glad you guys are saying that, not me, because I'd missed that out. Yeah, go on.
Genuinely, so was it 13 million plans? A repository that's building day by day, and as you said, it's almost certain that they've got, if not the property itself, another property there. So that, and is that accessible to all people? Is that a separate module of the Metropix system?
No. First of all, I'm glad you said depository because I had been known to say suppository in the past by accident. It's any Metropix client, it's available completely to them.
Oh, that's great.
There's no restrictions on it. You haven't got to pay extra for it. It's just part of the service.
And you said it cuts it down just by, what did you say? It's sort of 3 to 5 minutes normally, and it cuts it down.
Yeah, well, I mean, so every property that's been drawn within Metropix is in there. So let's just say you're looking at 25 at the High Street. It's a good chance it will be in there. And if not, actually 27 the High Street might be in there, or 32, and you can grab that plan, flip it around if needs be, and use it. The average plan, when you have the measurements, takes 5 minutes to put together. And I say kind of average, sort of 3-bedroom semi, something like that. And we have a new system that got launched, 6 months ago now, which has made it even quicker. So we're about 5 minutes to draw a plan, and it's quick, easy. Stairs are easy, adding floors, layers, etc.
So are those plans then available? So let's say a competitor of mine sells 24 High Street. I take on 22 High Street. Are those their plans available to me, or is it just my plans?
They are, but they don't go live for an excuse. I think it's about 10 weeks. So if you take an instruction on, it's held back from Plan Bank for about 10 weeks. You as an estate agent can say, I don't want my properties to go on. That was
going to be my next question, yeah.
But if you say you don't want yours to go on there, you don't get access to it. So actually there is some restrictions. We restrict it on a kind of fair basis. If you don't want to share your plans on Plan Bank, you don't get access to it, which I think is fair.
That's fair enough. Do you have any, this is another question that we've had. It's a good question. Do you know any sort of statistics of fall through rates for agents that have not been quick sale ready? So have you guys done any research into that?
No, it's a good point. I think, I mean, I suppose you would sort of need hundreds to make it worth, you know, actually sort of doing it and over a period of time. But it is sort of an interesting stat we would sort of like to have. I guess when I used to do value, we used to scare vendors by saying, you know, 30% of sales fall through, and you need to sort of make sure that it goes on at the right price, and we do things, you know, in a quick time. But the idea behind it is a lot of sales, we all know, they always fall through because buyers start to get cold feet, problems start to come up, or actually vendors and buyers just get frustrated with how long it's taking, and then they start looking at other things on Rightmove and go, actually, that other property we looked at, let's just go for that one because this one's taking so long. And a lot of the time it's the clients themselves don't know what they could be doing to make things better themselves either. They don't know that, oh, actually there's a form you haven't filled in, kind of thing. So the idea is, and the stat we gave earlier about it actually does reduce conveyancing anywhere from 2 weeks up to a whole month is spot on. It's just about trying to get things done earlier to reduce that time. If they're going quicker from offer accepted to completion, you will see them not falling through as much because there's not that longer gap where people start getting itchy feet then.
Yeah, I mean, I guess another way to look at that, David, is what's your fall through rate, if you don't mind me asking there, because most agents aren't quick sell ready, are they? So I guess what the fall through rate of people who aren't quick sell ready is probably the marketplace ultimately.
Can you get that out of your CRM system, David?
Sorry?
Can you get that out of your CRM system?
I'm lucky if I get an applicant's name and address out of the CRM system. I got sold a sort of a light version of a very popular CRM system. And you're
cutting up now.
The training, their idea of training was sending over a video with a pensioner explaining how to use a fax machine, and it was tedious, I can tell you. No, what I can tell you is that we did some research into fall through rates because we thought it was an interesting statistic for an agent to be able to go out to a vendor and say, look, you know, our fall through rates are lower than other competition. If you sell with us, you've got a better chance of getting your sale through. And the stats are interesting because Zoopla particularly tended to sort of provide some really good stats on that and lovely little pie charts that we could take out to people. But you're right. It's something that I've got obviously out of this session, but really over the last few weeks is that I think that in this new, probably more challenging environment where there's going to be a lower volume of transactions, you will need to make each and every opportunity count. And that thing that Samantha was talking about, I was talking about yesterday, is that the opportunity for a buyer's head to get turned by another property is there every day. The portals are doing a fantastic job of filling buyers' inboxes with fantastic, juicy new properties that they need to go and see. And if it's got chain free on it, or it's ready to get, and you're stuck in a chain that is mired with problems and delays, then I think having a solution to that, and being a bit more proactive and having a prophylactic solution, if you like, I think is the okay, child. It's a word,
No, I completely agree there, David. I think we've gone through a bounce out of lockdown with a lot of properties pushing through to completion at the minute, and then agents I speak to are dealing with hundreds of inquiries that have come in over this period. I guess the proof is in the pudding. Is does that inquiry levels continue sort of 3, 4, 5 weeks down the line? And actually, what are the news stories going to be like 5, 6, 7 weeks down the line? We're probably going to go into recession. It's not doom and gloom, but it probably will happen. I mean, it's probably no surprise to anyone, frankly. So are people going to be
remove him from the stream, get him off?
But, people are going to say your house price is going down, etc. So it's anything you can do now to get your transaction to the end point quicker and show how proactive you're being is only going to help your pipeline over that period. So and beyond. And beyond.
That's fantastic. So have you seen a lot of sort of take up from agents over the past few weeks during lockdown? What sort of feedback are you getting from them? Are you onboarding a lot more of them?
Yeah, I think the first sort of stage, obviously, when the virus was happening, was panic stations. Let's cut costs. Where can we save money? And I imagine all PropTech suppliers went through this. We went through it together. So we were giving discounts, giving 3 months, stuff like that. Just help them initially deal with your cost. Then obviously agents went through this period of, right, how can we carry on business as usual? Let's get our staff working from home where possible. Who do we have to furlough? And we supported sort of our agents with, like, still, if they were doing orders, helping them with queries and things. And also I imagine a lot of suppliers were just giving advice as well about, because a lot of prop tech, we all work from home, we're quite used to it, and working from distance selling and things. But then what they saw is actually this is a time of calm now to think of, let's reorganize what we do. Actually, we don't need the staff coming in every day like this. It's working brilliantly having some work from home and things like that. So actually, what can we do better in future? Staff are always late because they're sort of stuck commuting and things like that. So I think a lot started to think about, actually, what, now we've been forced to work like this and rely on technology more, what can we do to carry this on going forward? People doing virtual viewings and things like that. So what we've started to see, particularly over the last few weeks, is agents going, now we're opening up, we need to get organized, and we need to change these systems while we've got the time to think about it. And I imagine other suppliers are feeling it the same way.
Yeah, and what we have is we have a lot probably talking to us about our core products, like compliance in a box, Metropix, and the minute that happens, the minute they're on board, we're then talking to them about searches. So it's a kind of a mixture, and it's some agents are much more on board with the kind of the searches conversation, and much more proactive and happy to kind of push that forward, and others we're having a lot of ongoing conversations with. So it's frankly, at the minute though, you speak to an agent and they're just trying to get their staff back into the office.
they will do. And I think there are a lot of challenges in the past 2 weeks, and the next month is going to be very telling. But I think once everybody sort of gets back in, my advice, if anybody listens to that at all, I know my clients don't, but all my family, my kids ignore anything I say to them.
David, stop.
Should I cut now? Love you all. Daddy misses you.
He's like the character on the car show. He's like the character on the car show that goes, "It's all gone black."
No, but the message to any agent is, don't let everybody starts talking about this new normal and all that nonsense, but really, don't just go back into the trenches and get mired down with repeating the same stuff that you were doing 6, 7, 8 weeks ago. Learn from this, and perhaps where there are efficiencies, where you can save time, where you can save transaction time, you are going to be able to use that to get more transactions through and to deliver value to the client. So really, for a vendor, when we turn around to them and say, look, I get your sale ready, and these are the reasons why, this is, it's a fantastic selling point. And I think agents should be able to build that as part of their pitch. That's the That's the soundbite you were looking for, right?
It's a really good point, and I think one of the things that jumped out at me when you were talking there, we did a survey about the whole process, the sales progression process again, and I was amazed that almost 40% of people filling in the survey weren't doing the money laundering, digitally, electronically. It's staggering in this day and age that we're you're just losing those efficiencies. So again, that was looking at your service there, is they've just really got to step up to the plate, haven't they?
Yes.
Otherwise you're just not serving your clients on this.
No, absolutely. I mean, look, I still speak to quite a few agents who do that manually as a single process, and they still think it's more advantageous to do it manually. And I'm sorry if there's any agents on the call who do this, who do tell me that spending a couple of pounds on a money laundering check isn't worth it. I'm like, well, the time it takes to chase, the time it takes to do all that, which is money. And actually, in these times, it's about less client contact. It's about doing it electronically. It's about doing it safely. So it's. We have more and more agents using us for that side of our service. And we've had a hell of a lot more, kind of come to us in the last sort of month or so to inquire about it. So it sort of shows the direction of travel that agents are taking when it comes to those sorts of services and changing their views on how they conduct business, which is great because.
Yeah.
What I really like about it, though, is you've really got the ability with all these, some agents will be concerned about that. I've got too many eggs in one basket. They'd be worried about doing too much. But the argument's always been, if the basket is right, anything you can do to cut down the myriad of different suppliers there, can only be a good thing. So you're holding and building on those relationships that you can concentrate on. So I think, there's going to be a lot of attraction. Thank you very much again from myself and all the Kerfuffle members there. You put together a really compelling deal there. We'll obviously be talking about that and showing it off in the normal places as we do. I wasn't surprised at all to see you as a massive awards whore myself. Seeing you win all of those Esther's ones, that is important, because again, it is the Esther's in particular is voted for again by the clients. It isn't a judging panel, and there's perfect validity in that. But and again, it's not the fact that you just won one of these and then like some people disappear the night. It's the consistent. I always said the companies I keep an eye on are the ones, they might not have won gold every single time, but they keep winning and getting in there, because that shows really power. So I think, look, you're already 5-star rated, I think, on the Kerfuffle website already. So I think as much as anything, people doing their due diligence, learning about things like this on this webinar, and finding that they've got the trophies in the right places and the reviews. It firmly gets the Kerfuffle thumbs up from ourselves.
Thank you.
Fabulous. Thanks very much, Simon.
Yeah,
great.
thank you for having us on today as well.
Have you got anything else? I think it's been really useful. Thank you for your time.
It's been a really useful session, and thanks for joining us.
Fabulous. Thanks for having us.
And thanks, Simon, for not taking me up too madly on the compliance being boring. You let me off lightly there. So.
Oh, it's one of the most interesting conversations I have a week about compliance.
You'll have to explain it to me one day.
Get a beer. You might need it. Right. Thanks very much.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Bye.
Bye.